You leave the conversation thinking nothing happened. She keeps replaying it. You tell yourself she was just being friendly. Wrong. Sexual frustration rarely looks dramatic. It looks like attraction with nowhere to go. One more question. One more touch. One more reason to stay connected. Here are 9 signs she's sexually frustrated around you and hiding it badly. 1. She keeps restarting conversations. You answer her question, the conversation slows. It should end. Then she finds another reason to keep talking. Maybe she asks about your weekend. Maybe she remembers something you mentioned last week. Maybe she asks a question she could have answered herself. When a woman feels no pull toward you, a conversation can end without leaving anything unfinished. But when attraction has been building, silence can feel like a door closing too soon. So she pulls out one more topic, one more question, one more small reason to keep you standing there with her. The question is only an excuse. What she really wants is another minute with you. 2. She notices things about you nobody else does. You trim your beard, she notices. You wear a different watch, she notices. You mention a hobby once casually, and weeks later, she brings it up again. Most people are too busy with their own lives to store small details about someone else. But once a woman is thinking about a man more than she means to, his ordinary details starts sticking. The shirt he wears when he's relaxed, the drink he orders without looking at the menu, the phrase he uses when something genuinely makes him laugh. She may not realize she's collecting these things, they simply stay with her. That is how attraction begins taking up space. Not through one enormous thought, but through small details she keeps carrying around for no practical reason. 3. Harmless touch slowly becomes a pattern. She laughs, and her hand lands on your forearm. A few minutes later, she touches your shoulder while making a point. As you're leaving, her fingers brush your arm again. One touch can mean absolutely nothing. People touch when they're friendly, or when a room is crowded. The pattern changes the meaning. The contact happens when there's space between you. It happens when she could have made her point from a foot away. Sometimes her hand remains there after the joke has already ended. That is when touch becomes a safe substitute for something she is not ready to say aloud. She gets a brief moment of closeness without having to explain it. And if those touches keep returning, her body is getting comfortable with a thought her mouth has not caught up with yet. 4. She keeps finding reasons to be where you are. You are at a family gathering. She could be talking to anyone, yet somehow she ends up beside you. Later, everyone moves into another room. A few minutes pass. She is there again. At work, she reaches the coffee machine at the same time you do. At a party, she drifts into your conversation without really needing to. At first, these moments look accidental. Then you begin seeing the rhythm. Proximity rarely announces itself. It simply keeps happening. She is not lost. She is orbiting. The first 4 signs can still be easy to explain away. A friendly woman might do one of them, maybe even 2. These next 5 matter for a different reason. They show that her attention keeps following you after the moment should have passed. That is where attraction becomes harder for her to hide. 5, she keeps bringing the conversation back to relationships. Someone else mentions dating, she joins in immediately. She asks whether you're seeing anyone. She wonders why a man like you is still single. She laughs about modern dating, then asks what you are actually looking for. The questions sound casual. The timing usually is not. Her curiosity has moved past your job, your hobbies, and the ordinary facts of your life. Now she wants to know whether there is room for her in it. She is quietly checking the door before deciding whether to walk toward it. And if she asks the question, then listens a little too closely to the answer. You are no longer just another man in the room. 6. She teases you more than everyone else. You make a harmless comment. She smiles, then fires back with something playful. A few minutes later, she does it again. Nothing she says is genuinely insulting. Nothing is meant to embarrass you. The conversation simply keeps finding its way back to you. Playful teasing creates a private thread inside a public moment. Every few minutes, she pulls your attention toward her with another challenge or smile. That is why teasing can carry more tension than a compliment. A compliment ends when it is received. Teasing keeps the energy moving between you. She is not trying to win the joke, she is trying to keep the connection alive. 7. She keeps looking at you when she thinks you will not notice. You are talking to someone else. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch her looking. The moment you turn toward her, she looks away. A few minutes later, it happens again. One glance means almost nothing. People look at everyone, but repeated glances tell a different story, especially when they happen while you are distracted. She looks when you are laughing with someone else. She looks when you are focused on your phone. She looks when you are across the room, and there is no reason to be watching you at all. Her attention keeps returning before she has time to manage it. She is trying to take one more look without being caught. And when you finally catch her, that quick look away can say more than a confident stare ever could. 8. She keeps finding reasons to message you. The conversation ended yesterday. There was nothing left to say. Then your phone lights up. She sends a funny video. The next day, it is a photo. A few days later, it is a question she could have asked anyone else. None of the messages are urgent. None really need an answer. They simply reopen a conversation that had already ended. One message means very little. A meme can simply be a meme. The rhythm is what matters. Does she keep returning after there was no real reason to continue? Does she find small pieces of her day that suddenly need to be shared with you? That is when the message becomes more than its contents. She wants to remain present in your day. When attraction has nowhere clear to go, even a simple notification can become a quiet way of keeping someone close. 9. She keeps delaying the goodbye. Everyone has already started leaving. You say goodbye. She does too. Then another question appears, another joke, another comment about the weather, another reason to stand there for 30 more seconds. She adjusts her bag, looks toward the door, starts to leave, then turns back, because she remembered one last thing she needed to tell you. The room has already moved on. She has not. Sometimes this is simple politeness, but there are moments when someone struggles to let an interaction finish, because ending it means returning to a version of the day where you are no longer part of it. That is why the goodbye can reveal so much. There is no audience left, and no practical reason to continue. Just a woman standing near the door, finding one more reason not to walk through it yet. You do not need every sign on this list. One could simply be friendliness. 2 might still be coincidence. But when several of these patterns keep appearing around the same woman, they begin creating a picture. The conversation that would not end. The touch that kept returning. The message that arrived for no real reason. The goodbye that somehow took 5 minutes. Attraction rarely arrives with an announcement. It escapes through ordinary moments she never meant you to notice. And if you have ever wondered what usually comes next, we put together 25 forbidden signals she's into you. The quiet behaviors women often show after attraction becomes impossible to hide. Once you see them, you cannot unsee them.